Hi, I'm Joe and welcome to the channel. In this micro lesson, I'm going to make an argument that everyone should learn a different pentatonic pattern to start with instead of the traditional one that you're usually taught. The traditional one that we're all usually taught is the 2-note per string one. We'll do an A minor one here. Now we're all taught that pattern for a reason, right? It's easy, it gets you up and running and out of the gate quickly. It's easy to memorize, you only have 2 notes per string, and it also looks like a box, right? So you can get familiar with what that pattern looks like and memorize it easily. The problem with it though is that it is a box and you get caught in that box. And lots of times when you're trying to come up and improvise and make solos, you're just staying in the same exact position here and you're not breaking out across the neck. So technically you're getting stuck in the box. So the thing that's helpful about it is also something that is kind of harmful about it. Well, what if I could show you an alternative pattern that's easy to memorize, but it's slightly different than that pentatonic shape here? Let me show it to you right now. We're going to, instead of starting on the root, which is the A, we're going to go down and start on the flat 7. So G, then A, and then we're going to do the flat 3, C, 4, D, and slide up to the E, which is the 5. So the pattern is very simple, right? It's 2 notes on one string, then 3 notes on the next string. And if you also notice, it's whole steps. They're all whole steps. There's always a fret in between. Now what's nice about this pattern is it just repeats itself, and where you end up, you're ready to go with your first finger to do the same thing all over again. 2 notes on the first string, then 3 notes on the next string. Now we're going to repeat the same pattern, but because of the way the guitar is tuned, we're going to have to go up to the G here. So we're going to slide up a little bit, but now do the same pattern again. 2 notes on the first string, then 3 on the next. So altogether the pattern looks like this. Now that's very easy to memorize. And I like this pattern for a couple of reasons. The first one is, right out of the gate, you're getting 3 octaves, 3 full octaves of that pentatonic scale to play around in. And you're basically getting some notes that are below, right? Below the traditional one. And you're also getting some notes that are above the traditional pattern, which is right here. The other thing that's really helpful about this is that by grouping it this way, I think that you can see the 5 notes that make up the pentatonic scale a lot clearer than the 2 notes per string. And what do I mean by that? Well, it's a group of 5 notes that you're playing, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That grouping allows you kind of to see those 5 notes of the pentatonic scale and visualize them. But here's the important thing to remember. Don't just memorize this pattern. That's always dangerous with any pattern. It does you no good if you do not know the notes or the scale degrees that you're playing over. And that's why I was referring to them as the flat 7, 1, flat 3, 4, and 5. And why am I not calling notes out and saying G, A, all that stuff? I'm not doing that because this is a movable scale shape. You can put this in any key and it'll work. So what's nice is if you call it by the number, the flat 7, 1, flat 3, 4, and 5, you now know the scale degrees that you're playing. The third reason why I like this pattern is it starts to get you to move linear on the guitar neck. You're not just staying in one position here. Your hand is moving up and down the neck of the guitar, and that's really nice and helpful to get your hand used to moving and making those movements. But what's also nice about it is you can start coming up with some more vocal quality lines. Like if you stay on one string to play something, instead of, it sounds different if I stayed on one string for the first part. And you can do things like that, the slurs. Again, more vocal quality type of things can happen when you're staying more of in a linear way, playing notes on one string. It's something to experiment too if you ever want to. Learn the pentatonic scale just on one string and try to make up some notes and licks, just like a singer would have to do. A singer can't jump around up and down. They can only kind of flow in between the notes that they can sing. So what's nice about limiting yourself to playing on one string is that you start to come up with more of these vocal quality licks. The fourth reason why I think that this pattern is so nice to learn is that you're using the same fingerings for all 3 octaves, right? Well, what's great about that? Well, you can get more mileage out of your licks or your riffs that you come up with. So if you come up with something in one position, you can play that same exact thing an octave higher. And again. You know, whatever you come up with, you can get more mileage out of it because you can play, you know, a motif in one area in one octave and use the same exact fingerings for the octave below it or above it. It depends on where you made that lick up. So one thing that I would recommend is when you're practicing this, you know, stay in one grouping of 5, call out the notes so you understand which notes that you're playing at any given time, and then move into the next part of the pattern. And again, it's the same fingering, so it's not going to be that hard for you to memorize those. And when you're coming up with, you know, cool little licks and ideas, try to apply them in the different areas of this bigger pattern. Well, I hope you found some value in this video. If you did, please do me a favor and consider supporting the channel for free by subscribing down below, hit the like button, and knock on the bell and you'll be notified when the next video comes out in this series. Until next time, I wish you a great day.